Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacle set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe this slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting, the trail of my tears is countless. The fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap, crack in the sky. Nuclear missiles will make it official. I'm capturing every crack and surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be. Slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cages, safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash. Get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show. We could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found. The time for your judgment is now.
You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood cell. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in his body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is dish served cold, I just hope they make an oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in the world of mad shooters. There was designed fire for our babies to pass through in the day of our king's reign. I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. Hey, play my niggas, lay you down, they on down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. Tell me we don't live in hell. My brother doing 55 in that cell. Nigga claiming he your round here spit shell. Same nigga you put on to hit the stand and tell. How the fuck you turn your back on a nigga that love you? Treat your kids like my kids, treat you like a brother. I told my dog, let's leave the streets to serve the Most High. He said, fuck that shit, he trying to sell another pie. His daddy killed him, put him in the trunk, set him on fire. His wife was pregnant, he ain't never get to see his child. Had me thinking to myself, what happened if I die? Look my babies in the eyes, I gotta stay alive. I put my ego on the shelf and my pride to the side. I'm with some niggas who gon' step and got God on their side. Got in the ISUPK, they keep asking me why. As I do the work of the Lord, I gotta stay alive. Face the east, pray alive. I seen heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. They play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive.
You ever pump a pack with a snake by your side? Yes, I see a man reach out to God before he died. Yes, I did. I know the Lord forgive us for these sins, but I'm starting to think the kingdom of heaven is for these kids. I told my daughter, there's one man in your bed, I won't stand for less. For my son, I hit your head on that fragile legs. I lost some niggas to that dope, I lost niggas to the feds. Remember Jono tried to stick me for that cheese on that bread, yeah, I was thugging with Lucky, that nigga left me for dead. Endured to the end, cause I listened to what was said. Mother told me she loved me when she was sick up in the bed. I was running them streets, but the truth made me a man. Shit, I don't really speak, cause she'll never understand. That's why I ain't even tell her about these voices in my head. I'm still trying to manage my anger like Uncle Craig.
I seen heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. They play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive.
Right. Shalom Israel, this is the ISUPK, star of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. This is Thursday night scripture breakdown class, right? Now, if anybody's online, got a question, feel free to put them in the chat and I'll answer them. Anybody in the classroom got a question? You got questions, brother? You got a question, sister? Everybody swap. All right, cool, no sweat. And we're going to jump right into it, right? So, the title of this class, Salaki, if I could, give me a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me. I need to make sure y'all can hear me. Let me look at it. It ain't grainy or nothing. Yeah, it look good. Yeah, we too wild. All right. You got a question? Go ahead, sis.
Are you supposed to wait 7 days after your blood was done?
Before you can, so you can come to class?
Mm-hmm.
So I asked that same question of I forgot who I asked, but I asked at Passover. The water, brother, I appreciate you. We twab on the live feed. I asked that same brother while we was at that same question to a brother while we was at Passover, just so I could be 100% sure, because I wasn't. And somebody asked me that question recently, and I wasn't 100% sure, so I told him to stay away just to be safe. But the answer I was given was that once your 7 days is over, then you're clean. It's like once your flower is over, then you're clean. What she's referring to is if a sister get her flower or her period is what we call it, when she starts bleeding for 7 days, she's unclean, or she's unclean until the period is over. Once it's over, then the day that it ends, that sundown, she can come back to class. So say if it's nighttime, right in the end, it ends that night. She can't come to class till the following night. She can't be around us till the following night, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the reason why? Do you know?
Why she can't come to the following night?
Why she can't be around us? Why she on the flower? Do you know the reason why? Other than the fact that obviously because the Most High said it. The water, sis. The water, Parak, yep, until sundown. That's right. What's the reason why?
Other than being unclean?
Yeah, why is it that she can't come around? Give me more. We teaching this young man. He don't know. We gotta teach the brother. No sweat. I just want to see if you had an answer. All right. So the reason why it's important that the sister stay away. Back in the times this was written, they didn't have pads. They didn't have tampons. You know what I'm saying? So when the sister would sit down, she would just bleed, right? And so whatever she sat on would become unclean. The reason why it's ceremonially unclean, but it's unclean because literally her body's cleaning itself out. So whatever she may have in there, no matter what it is, it needs to be outside the camp. It can't be around in the camp. It got to be out there. You know what I'm saying? Because we just naturally, our culture, we're culturally a clean people. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was telling you about dreads the other day. In the book of Numbers chapter 6, you got the Nazarite vow. The Nazarite vow requires that we comb our hair, damn near religiously. You know what I'm saying? We have to comb our hair, and if you comb your hair, that means it can never lock up. But Samson had locks. So how does that make sense? And he was a Nazarite. Samson and Samuel both had locks, but they were both Nazarites. But the Nazarite law requires that you comb your hair. But these brothers was perfect. Specifically Samuel. Samuel was perfect, right? And so the answer to that question is that those locks that they had in their head were able to be unlocked. That's the difference between a dread and a lock. A lock, it can be locked. This is a lock. It's locked in place. It's locked in this style. And whenever it's time, I can comb it out and it'll be unlocked. Wash it, comb it, blow dry it, have it braided again, and it'll be locked back into this style or whatever style I do. Go ahead.
So would that imply that Samson, or does that mean that Samson had what we would call braids?
Yes.
Instead?
Samson had braids, not dreadlocks. He had braids. Because again, like I said, we are spiritually and culturally clean people. And part of our culture, like I said, if you were Nazarite specifically, you have to comb your hair. Let me see if I can find that right quick. It's in Numbers chapter 6. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Because the chapter ain't that long. Let's find it. If you find it before I do, feel free to call it out. I'm looking for it right now. If anybody in the chat can find that verse where in the Nazarite vow we're required to comb our hair. If anybody can find it. It's been a minute since I even had to look this up. Hold up. It'll be faster. We live in the age of technology. Let me look it up on the internet.
If you find the verse, I can read it.
Con.
It's like,
Salakia, bear with me, yo. Okay, I'm gonna have to hold on. Let me see. Hold on. No raven from Parson and she feels separately. Head glow. Okay, it's 18. Okay, I'm gonna have to get back to y'all. It may not be in this chapter. I'm gonna have to look for it. But part of the Nazarite vow is making sure that we keep our hair combed. Let me see. It's gonna drive me crazy now.
Uh, in the
Where it
Numbers chapter 6, verse 5.
no, that's just talking about letting the hair grow. There is a verse. Let me see. Let me go to the app right quick. Okay, no worries. I'm gonna look for it later. We're gonna come back to that. Salakia. But again, like I said, it's part of the culture though, is keeping ourselves clean. We're all a very, very clean people. If you look at all of the laws in the book of Leviticus, the vast majority of them, they talk about like what they call ceremonially unclean. Ceremonial uncleanliness is specifically talking about being physically clean. You know what I'm saying? So like it's laws about leprosy. There's a clean leprosy and there's an unclean leprosy. There's laws about boils and infections of the skin. You know what I'm saying? After a period of time, you will go to the priest and they would look at you and determine whether or not that you was clean. And if you wasn't clean, you got to get back out the congregation for the extended period of time. Then you come back later on. You're not out away from all of the people. For example, say we got a camp right here, right? Say we all live in here. You're in there. You're still with us. You're still protected. You're still safe, but you're not in here with us. Basically, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead. You had a question?
Quarantine.
Exactly. That's literally what it is. It's quarantine. That's why quarantine exists. It's to protect the congregation from the uncleanliness. And it's not uncleanliness to say, oh, you're a nasty person. It's uncleanliness to make sure that you're clean before you're allowed to come back amongst the rest of the people. That makes sense to y'all? All right, cool. All right, we're gonna get into it right quick, right? You still got that precept I had you holding in Timothy? All right. So the title of class is Life is War, right? Life is about warfare. Well, life ain't supposed to be easy. It ain't supposed to be always enjoyable. You know what I'm saying? If life gets easy, you know what happens to us? First, we got to raise your hand whenever you're going to give an answer. But secondly, though, you say we get lazy. What else happens? That's a good answer, but what else happens? Go ahead, sis.
We get comfortable, pretend, and slept up, and we don't look by the walls.
Give me an answer that starts with the word W. What happens when we stop having to fight? When life gets comfortable and it get lax and we stop keeping the laws, what is that making us? If you go to the gym and you lift heavy weights, what does that make you? Over time, what does it make you? Go ahead. Oh, it's like it. Go ahead, sis. Go ahead, brother.
Makes you strong.
It makes you strong. So if you don't have nothing to fight, if you ain't got nothing that you battling, nothing that's constantly in your side, what is it that you become? You become weak. Exactly. Now give me the precept for that. Damn, I forgot.
Which
I gotta find it. So lucky. I forgot I ain't got nobody here to pull my precepts. It's Kabashwan over there on Shamar and stuff. Salakia. Get Kabashwan a hand. Taking this Shamar role serious. Look, he can clap, but he can't give me no precept. That's crazy. All right. Hold what you got, brother. And go to 2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 7. The 2 Corinthians
chapter 12, verse 7.
Chapter 12 and verse 7.
All right, Second Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7.
Make sure your brothers and sisters are there. So you will say all Akim
Akim
and Akwathian
and Akwathian
have it. And wait for them to respond. If they say Khan, then you two have to start reading. Go ahead.
But the manifestation of the Spirit is
Salakia.
given.
Live. What verse you want? We in 2 Corinthians. Chapter 12 and verse 7. I think you're in 1 Corinthians, maybe.
So,
It's a lot. And if anybody got a question, feel free to put it in the chat. Like we said, life is about warfare. Life is about war because it's meant to make you physically strong and spiritually strong. When you, the strongest people fight the hardest battles, and sometimes in battles is fought silently, and you might be suffering on the inside for real. But what that's doing is it's more so developing your strength. You have to learn to appreciate that. One day you're gonna come to love that battle, love that fight, because if you don't love that fight, you ain't never gonna grow. You're gonna be weak forever. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna stumble, you're gonna bump your head. I'm gonna say bust your head, you're gonna bust your head, and you're gonna fail. But what determines your strength is whether you fail and stay down or you get back up and you try harder and to the point where you don't fail no more. That's what determines your strength. You got that?
yes.
Go ahead.
All right. So this is 2 Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
All
Akim,
Achium and
Aquathian.
Aquathian. Have it?
Huh?
Go ahead.
All right. And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations.
Paul is talking here. He said, lest I be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations. What he's saying right there is I should not be looked at better or special because the Lord has given me this abundance of revelation. All this information that's been poured into me, given to me, all this understanding that I have, I should not be considered better than any of my brothers and sisters. Keep reading.
There was given to me a thorn in the flesh.
Because there was given a thorn to Paul in his flesh. I know what that means, what that's saying. What do you think that's saying? Go ahead.
It's something to keep you humble.
Exactly. And what's the point of that?
So that so that you don't become too proud. And I guess you're reminded of your humanity,
I mean, those are good answers. You write on them, but we're in class, right? So what is the point of that? Why are we here? Why are we talking about this? What are you trying to prevent from happening?
So that you can stay close to the Most High.
Because if you're not doing that, you're not staying close to the Most High, what do you become?
So weak.
Exactly. Give brother a hand. It makes you weak. Paul said, I need this thorn. Paul didn't want the thorn in his side. The Lord allowed Satan to put a thorn in his side to keep him humble, like you said, but also to keep him fighting. So Paul didn't forget where he came from. Paul suffered a whole lot of stuff in a short period of time that a lot of brothers never had to even think about enduring. Paul was shipwrecked and lost at sea for 3 damn days by himself. Paul was in prison. Paul went through all type of hell. He was blinded. Paul went through all type of hell trying to be in the truth. But the reason why is because he had done so much evil and so much wicked towards his brothers before he found the truth. And then once he came to the truth, the Lord was using him, but also the Lord was trying him and testing him. That's why I said life is about war. We're going to read here a little bit that Paul complained about that thorn in his side. And he asked the Lord to take it from his side. And the Lord going to get him. You're going to read about what the Lord's answer was and why he gave him that answer. Go ahead, keep reading.
The messenger of Satan to buffet me.
Right, to buffet me, like you said, mean to keep me humble, keep me in. It's like putting a border around me, and I'm in this box. I can't come out this box. That's what the thorn is doing to Paul, is keeping him grounded. Keep going.
Lest I should be exalted above measure.
Because he don't want to be exalted above measure. He's not supposed to be exalted above measure, right? That was the whole point of putting the thorn in his side. It's not a literal thorn. It's affliction, though. It's something that he has to battle. And the point of it, like I said, is to keep him from thinking himself too great, thinking himself too high, or from forgetting that this is a lifelong battle that we're in. This ain't no sprint. This is a marathon. Being in the truth is a battle and it's a marathon. It's something that we all got to endure. It's going to suck sometimes. It's going to be some bull crap that come our way, and we got to persevere through it. We got to be strong and keep fighting through it. Keep going.
For this thing I besought the Lord thrice.
For this thing, Paul sought the Lord 3 times. He came to him 3 times and asked him. Keep going.
That it might depart from me.
That it might what?
Depart from me.
He said, let it do what?
depart from me.
He said, "Let that it might depart from me." He didn't want to deal with this affliction. Paul's desire was to be perfect. Once Paul came into the truth and he repented of all the evil that he had done to his brothers and sisters, his heart's desire was to be perfect. Keep reading.
And he said unto me,
Mm-hmm.
my grace is sufficient for thee,
Keep going.
for my strength is made perfect in weakness.
He said, my grace is sufficient for thee. I'm not going to kill you right now because of that thing that you fighting with. Because my strength is made, Slaki. Yeah, for my strength is made perfect in your weakness. Every time that you conquer that demon, them demons that you've been fighting, struggling with, every time you say no and you win, you showing the Lord's strength more and more. And what is that doing for people around you? People that know that you're afflicted with something. What is that doing for them? Go ahead.
So it might inspire them to become closer to the Lord.
Exactly. It's showing them that they can develop spiritual strength as well, that they can beat them demons as well. It's showing them that you, who they thought was lost to the world, lost to yourself, told yourself no. You fought your flesh and decided that serving the Most High was more important than what you wanted. You chose suffering. For example, let's take a drug addict, right? A drug addict, if they on dope, they got to get high. Because if they can't get high, it starts to hurt. They physically start getting sick. They start to ache, cramp, sweating crazy, profuse, start getting dehydrated, lips all dried out, all of that. And then they start to really crave getting high. But now it ain't about craving to be high just for the sake of being high. It's for the sake of not feeling sick. But if they conquer that, when they beat that, when they suffer that pain and that affliction, when they fight that battle, and they still don't get high, you know what's on the other end of that 2 weeks? Sobriety. Normalcy. Peace. Those demons that was on them, leave. Every now and then they're going to come back. You're going to be around people that, you know what I'm saying, you used to get high with, or you know people that get high, or you see people walking down the street, you see a dude, you know, just, and now you think, everybody used to do this shit, my face used to go numb, and whatever. You know, you're going to get excited about it. And then you got to tell yourself, I don't want that no more. I'm not doing that no more. I'm going to tell you straight up, real deal, real facts. When I said I was done smoking cigarettes, I had 2 cigarettes. I had one lit. I had 2 in my pack. I was smoking the one I was smoking. I finished it through the butt. Lit the second one, second to last one. I was hitting it a couple times. I was like, fuck, excuse my language. I was like, forget this, I'm done. And I threw the cigarette down, stumped it all out, smushed it so I couldn't pick it back up. The one in my head, I had in my hand, I pulled it out, crumbled it up in my hands, threw it on the ground, and smushed it with my foot. And I ain't smoked a cigarette since then. But let me tell you, to this day, the water, I appreciate y'all. To this day, that was 2019, June 2019. To this day, I still have dreams that I smoke cigarettes. I still crave cigarettes in my regular everyday life. My vice now that helped me beat that was sunflower seeds. But even then, I'm actually beating the need for a vice. I don't even eat sunflower seeds like you remember. I don't even eat sunflower seeds like I used to. I eat them from time to time occasionally. If I get real stressed out, yeah, I'll go get me a bag. But that's the alternative to choosing nicotine and something that's unlawful. I'm choosing to allow myself to suffer that demon. That's the thorn for me. That's something I got to fight with every day. I want that. I want a cigarette every day, but I can't smoke a cigarette. And I work in construction. That's damn near part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? Part of being a concrete finisher, every finisher got their own trademark thing, right? And my stepfather taught me how to finish concrete, so I kind of like do everything that he did. So what he would do every time we start a new pour, once we finally get it all good and sealed up, he'll poke a hole in it with his finger, light a cigarette, hit that cigarette, then put it out in the concrete, put the whole cigarette in there, and then float it back in there. It's forever in the concrete. It's just a tradition of it's a concrete finisher thing. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to explain it. I do it because I learned it from him. So now that I don't smoke no more, every time I've ever finished concrete since I quit, it's like I want to do it. I'll still do that. I'll still put a hole in it, spit in it, and then I float it and close it back up. It could be wet. But like, why you just spit on that wet ass concrete? Like, why you just spit on that wet concrete for? Like it was like it needed more moisture. It's sopping wet. You gonna spit on it? Nah, y'all laughing, but if concrete gets super dry, you could just spit on it and it'll work. You can work up some cream if you got a mag flow. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so So part of my battle, you know what I'm saying? I still desire to do the tradition because this was I'm a concrete finisher. It's old habits die hard, but I can't do it no more. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't smoke no more. You know what I'm saying? So keep reading. That's what Paul was talking about. Keep going. Verse 9.
So verse 9, and he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee,
Mm-hmm.
for my strength is made perfect in weakness.
Right.
Most gladly, therefore, I will rather glory in my infirmities.
He said, I will glory in my infirmities. The things that I'm struggling with, I glory in them. Why does he glory in them? Go ahead.
Because the struggle shows the power of the Most High.
Mm-hmm. And how is he showing the power of the Most High? Exactly. Give him a hand. You in class now. That's exactly how he shows his glory in his infirmities. He feels the pain, the burning sensation in his flesh, the desire to do the carnal thing that he wants to do, but he can't do it and he refuses to do it. And by his refusal and his suffering, he's showing the glory. He's giving glory to the Most High, but he gains glory as well. Scripture says, if we revel in the Lord. Our glory, ain't none of it our glory. It all belongs to the Most High. Our glory is like filthy rags. It's filthy rags to him. But if we do glory, it's because we're giving the Most High glory. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he's describing here. Keep going.
So I'll just put it. So most gladly, therefore, I will rather glory in my infirmities,
Mm-hmm.
that the power of Christ may rest upon me.
Keep going.
Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities,
Mm-hmm.
in reproaches,
And reproaches. Keep
in
going.
necessities,
And things that I need that I don't have. Keep going.
in persecution,
Even when people hating on me for coming into the truth, even when people hate on me for changing my life and being better, for caring about my brothers and sisters out there before I care about me, even when I choose that I'm going to love my family, love the Most High, love myself, even when I choose them things through persecution, keep going.
in distresses for Christ's sake.
And when I'm getting talked bad about because I'm serve Christ, all of that, keep going.
For when I am weak, then I am strong.
Because when I'm weak, then I'm strong. When I'm weak and I fail, but then I pick myself back up and I don't fail no more, eventually, I'm strong. I'm strong because I got myself back up. But I'm even stronger once I conquer the thing that keeps stumbling, making me stumble. You know what I'm saying? Life is about work. Without that war, Paul couldn't say that. Without that thorn in his side, Paul couldn't say that. None of us could say that. The things that we deal with in everyday life, the mistakes that we make, we couldn't be perfect if we didn't go through fire, go through affliction. Right? Let's drop that. Let's go to back to Timothy. Slakia. 2 Timothy chapter what I say? 2 and verse 3.
So 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 3.
Mm-hmm. Check on you. Akim. That's all you want to get it.
Akim and
Akwathian.
have it.
Go ahead.
So thou therefore endure hardness.
Endure hardness. Life ain't gonna be easy. It's gonna be hard. We have to endure it. Keep going.
As a good soldier of Jesus Christ.
As a good soldier of Christ. Endure suffering as a good soldier of Christ. Sometimes you're gonna suffer unjustly. Sometimes you ain't gonna do nothing wrong and you still gonna suffer. But you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna have to pick up the pieces and keep moving forward. As a man, I don't know what you may know or may not know about us being the UPK, us in the truth. But as a man, when anything wrong with your woman, you gotta fix it. She's your responsibility. That's why we have a courting process in here. The reason for the courting process, if a sister has a father, then you go pay that dowry to her father. If she's in here, you know what I'm saying, you pay that dowry to the school. And the generals will give that sister to you, or her camp leader will give that sister to you. The reason why they're giving her to you, because now she don't report to her camp leader no more. She don't check in with him, rather. Now she checks in with you. You're responsible for her health. You're responsible for her safety. You're responsible for her everything. You know what I'm saying? Her protection, her guidance, the stupid questions that she might ask that you don't understand why she's asking. It's not for you to understand why she's asking it. Just answer the question. Give her an answer that she needs. And when things go bad, when things is wrong for her, You have to be there to pick up the pieces. You got to be able to find an answer, help her find an answer, or take her to men above you that's more wise than you so that they can help her find the answer. You have to take your pride out of it, take your feelings out of it. Part of being the truth, you can't have, I won't say you can't have feelings, but when it comes to dealing with your rib, you can't. What you feel got to be put on the wayside so that you can address her feelings. Because she got to be protected. She got to be safe. And if she don't feel comfortable talking to you about things, if she don't feel safe talking to you about things, you know what's going to happen?
Yeah.
What?
She won't feel comfortable talking to you. You know, it puts a rift in the relationship.
She won't start keeping secrets. She will start bottling up things, and then one day it's going to blow up. And you ain't going to understand where it's coming from. Because y'all was cool. Last you checked. But really deep down, she had stuff going on that she couldn't express to you. Because you don't make yourself available to be talked to. You have to be, that's another part of suffering in the truth. Kind of like Zabak said, and you are bound to her forever and ever. Exactly. You gotta make choices as a brother. Who you gonna decide you're gonna give the rest of your life to? Because even dealing with your rib is war. It's not peace in the house with a rib. It's gonna be sometimes where there's peace. She's supposed to be our pillar of peace. But she's fighting just like you are in this captivity. You go to work every day. You're dealing with white oppression or heathen oppression, white supremacy, all of that. People cutting you off in traffic on the way home. It's hot as hell. You tired. You sore. Your feet hurt. And she at home. And either she A, feels bad because she don't feel like she's doing enough to help you, or B, she can't wait till you get home and she just needs you to be there so she can talk to you so you know what I'm saying? Or C, she was at work and she had a bad day. Or she had a good day and she want to come and tell you about it. That you have to be there for them moments as well, even though you're tired. We don't get to turn it off. It's like being a father. You don't get to turn off being a father. I'm not going to be a dad today. You can't do that. You can't never turn it off. That's part of the battle of being a soldier of Christ. It's the responsibility of being a man. You know what I'm saying? It's never going to be easy. It was never meant to be easy. It was meant to be a struggle so we can be strong, so that they can be weak. The scripture called them the weaker vessel. So if they're going to be weak, we got to be strong. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life.
The things in this life don't matter. We at war. We were in for the kingdom. We were in for Christ's kingdom to be established here on the earth. We wanted to fix our people here on the earth. We ain't got time to be worried about the money that's out there that we could be making. Matter of fact, sidebar if I could, right? So Captain Zaryak was in Nashville. Give Captain Zaryak a hand. He was down here in Nashville over the weekend. Or no, I'm Salakia, not over the weekend, but a couple days ago. And he asked me a question. He was like, you got all these, I told him I was a government contractor and everything. And he was like, why don't you go on the road and make that money? And you know what I'm saying? He was trying to like say, like, why you holding yourself back? I know brothers that it's in the truth and they got a real good jobs and they're out there making this money and the third. Now, let me preface what I'm about to say before I say it. My answer to him is not a reflection on how I view brothers who are in the truth but work on the road, live on the road. It's not a reflection on them. I would never be that unbrotherly. But I meant what I said, though. I told him money would never be my God. I can't make the money that I wanted to make, but it means that I get to serve the Most High the way He told me to. I get to be here with my brothers and sisters. The water, brother. I appreciate it. I get to be here to teach you. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have ever met you if I was on the road. Because I'd be on the road. And next you know, I come off the road every 7 weeks. And I see you got a new young man in class. I never met you. You've been here for 7 weeks. You down there finna get your Hebrew name. But I'm on the road. I don't know. I ain't got no relationship with you. I don't got a relationship with none of my brothers. I see them once every 2.5 months. Yeah, almost every month and a half, damn near. Almost 2 months. That's all I see them. So I ain't got no relationship here with my brothers and them. You know what I'm saying? It's not worth it to me. That's suffering and not entangling myself with the affairs of this world. You know what I'm saying? Choosing the Most High in Christ over your own well-being, over your own desire, within reason, obviously. I won't even say within reason, though. But choosing yourself last when it comes to serving the Most High. That's what it means to suffer. That's what it means to suffer and get glory in suffering. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
That he may pleaseth him who hath chosen him to be a soldier.
That we may please him who chose us to be a soldier. right? The Most High called you out the world in here. We didn't do it. You heard about Captain Tsariak online. He didn't call you. He didn't say, you brother, get in class. You just came here. The Lord put you in the position in life that now is the time for him to pull you in here. It's just like a plant. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures refer to the Most High as a gardener, and we're his vineyard. If you read Isaiah chapter 5, that's what the whole chapter is. The analogy the whole chapter is talking about, right? We're his vineyard. And he plants plants, he grows crops, but it takes time for them to grow. So right now, or for a time, he leaves them in the ground, let the seeds sprout into buds and let the buds grow. He go out there, prune them a little bit. And eventually one day it's gonna be a beautiful flower that he can pluck. Or he's gonna be it's gonna drop fruit that he can pull. You get what I'm saying? That's us. One day the Lord is gonna decide it's gonna be time for me to start feeding him a little bit of affliction. Get his attention. Throw stones at him, throw pebbles at him. Get him to look this way. And then one day it's gonna come a day where you're gonna be like, I don't got no choice but to look that way. And that's when the Lord gonna pull you all the way in. He's gonna snatch you up. Right? Drop down to verse 10.
Verse 10. Therefore I endure all things for the elect's sake.
I endure all things for the elect's sake. We don't know who the elect are. Everybody always talk about the 2/3 gonna be destroyed this, the 2/3 that. We don't know if any of us are even part of the 2/3. You know what the 2/3 is, right? The 2/3. So in the scriptures, Paul, in the scriptures, it talks about Slack, and he told in the shop, that's a good man. You have a good man in your camp. Most High in Christ, that's right. It's about but in the scriptures, it talked about what was I just talking about? I was trying to thought reading that comment, Salaki. Oh, the 2/3, yeah, Salaki. God, so in scripture talk about the 2/3. The 2/3 is the 2/3 of Israel that's supposed to be destroyed. The Most High said that he only wants 1/3 of our whole nation of people. The rest of us won't come to him. That's the point of what he's saying. Now, obviously, our heart's prayer and desire is that all of us will be saved. Just like Moses went to the Most High and prayed and begged that all of us would be saved. You know what I'm saying? We want that same thing, right? But like I said, we don't know who the elect are. The elect is that 144,000 that's going to rule with Christ. We don't know who they are. So we got to suffer and be strong for their sakes. Because you might be one of them. She might be, or he might be one of them. We might be raising up children that might be some of them, but we don't know. So that means we got to be perfect throughout the rest of our regular life. Every day we have to strive to be the most perfect we can be so that we can set an example for the elect that's to come. And the ones that's already here that don't know that they're the elect. The Lord ain't pulled out the world yet. Keep going.
That they may also obtain salvation, which is in Christ Jesus, with eternal glory.
Keep going.
It is faithful saying, for if we be dead with him, we shall also live with him.
If we dead with Christ, we're going to live with Christ. Meaning, if we suffering right now because we serving Christ, we're going without. Like right now, we in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Get out of hand. We're going without eating the cakes, the snacks, the burgers, the sandwiches, all of the full of leavened, good, delicious food. We're going without that, but we're actively choosing to do it. We're suffering right now, but we're going to live with Christ. And even on like a real physical level, though, there's health benefits to removing leaven from your diet. You know what I'm saying? So you suffering right now because you want the leaven. It's gonna come a time where you ain't gonna want the leaven. You're gonna think about the leaven no more, and your health is gonna be that much better because you ain't been putting it in you. All right, keep going.
If we suffer, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, we also will deny us.
He will also deny us. That's why it's important that we choose to suffer. Like I said, it says, if we suffer, we shall also reign with him. We suffer because he suffered. And we ain't no better than our master. And Christ is our master. The servant ain't no better. So that means if Christ suffered, we can suffer. Hell, he did it for 40 days. No food, no water. I think we can do a week without living. 1 day of atonement with no food, no water. 24 hours, no food, no water. I think we can do that, right? Yeah. It's gonna come a day though where we ain't allowed to eat no vegetable. That's in the law as well. In the law, every 50 years, the 50th day of the 50th year, I believe is how it is. You can't eat no vegetables, no crops. You can't harvest nothing. No matter of fact, it's the whole 50th year. You can't harvest nothing. Y'all want to know why? What do y'all think that is? Go ahead, sis. Give the sister a hand. She's in class. That's exactly why. Because every time you grow plants, you're sucking nutrients out the ground, and we just collect them. Plants ain't meant to be harvested. I mean, they are because the Lord made them to be harvested. But on the natural spectrum, the natural life cycle of a plant is meant to fall and fertilize the earth, to stalk everything. The whole plant dies and becomes fertilizer for the next generation of that plant. The seeds are supposed to be carried off, or the spores supposed to be carried off and plant somewhere new. But that plant that was there is going to die, and something new is going to be grown from that death. You get what I'm saying? But now you throw humans in there. So now all that nutrients that's supposed to go back in the earth, and we just constantly ingesting it and we taking it, it ain't going back to the earth right there no more. Eventually that earth gonna become malnourished. You get what I'm saying? So for the 50th year, every 50 years, we have to only eat meat. We can't eat no vegetables, no fruit, no plants. We have to leave them alone, let them grow for that harvest, that season, and let them die so that they can replenish the earth. Every 50 years, I think it's called the year of Jubilee. I have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's called the year of Jubilee. I'll get an answer for you, have it next week. It's like you confused, sis. You had a question about it? It's okay. The Lord gave us plenty of. You got 49 years to literally be a vegan. That means for 1 year out your life, that's the average lifespan, unless you live for over 100 years. So 2 years out of your whole life, if you live 100 years, you got 2 years out your life where you can't eat no vegetables, no fruit. You have to eat meat. Good.
So we should do bitter
No vegetables at all.
herb.
Well, you can eat what you've got, you know what I'm saying, but you can't go out and collect more. Once it's gone, it's gone. So you can store that and stretch it, but you can't collect more though. You have to let what's on the plants, on the harvest that year just grow and die and replenish the earth. You can't have it. It's not for you. Handlebar. All right. Let's drop that. Salaki. Let's go. Let's go to 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 27 in the Apocrypha. Right? You start with the brothers first. This is going to be a 2-part class. This class is going to be one class, but it's going to be 2 parts. I'm going to address the brothers first, and then I'm going to address the sisters. We both got a war. There's an example for both of us to follow, and they're right next to each other in the scriptures. One chapter is about the brother. One chapter is about a sister, an older brother and an older sister. We got examples to look up for. They say ain't no book for this thing called life. It's right there. We got examples of how we're supposed to be. We just got to gird up our loins. We got to do it. You know what I'm saying? We got to be willing to suffer for the Most High. And sometimes that suffering could be your death. You got to be willing to suffer for the Most High. When you get that oil poured on your head, that's the decision that you're making. Right? Nobody's expecting that responsibility from you, obviously, because you're a young man. We don't expect our sisters to die unless they're the last line of defense to protect our children, our babies, or our elderly, if necessary. Even then, it shouldn't be necessary, but if necessary. Brothers, me, that brother right there, officers, that's what the getting oil poured on our head means. That our lives are forfeit for y'all. Somebody running here with a gun, I need to make sure that y'all make it. Y'all need to survive. Y'all need to make it out of here. So me and Kabashwan are going to fight and make sure that y'all can get to safety to the absolute best of our ability till we die, to death. That same responsibility I owe to y'all in here, I owe it to my rib at home. That same responsibility that you hear about us in here, you owe it to your rib at home. And then one day it's going to become your responsibility in here, Lord willing. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's go to 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 27 in the Apocrypha.
2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 7.
27.
Okay. Aquan and
Akim, or Akim, and Akwafian. Mm-hmm.
Paul have it.
So Salakia. We got a apocrypha in here. We got other apocrypha in here. Salakia says, put it up on your phone. Bob Kasha. I don't know that we have another apocrypha in here. But it's very important though, you know what I'm saying? This is very, very, very important. This is a verse, this is a chapter, a whole chapter about real manhood. The ultimate let me ask you real quick while we get in the apocrypha. Oh, give it to the sister, Baba Kasha. Let me help the sister find it if you could. But let me ask you what's the duty of men?
Wow. Right. So to protect our rich, to protect our children, to bring forth the next generation.
And what responsibility do we owe the next generation? It's more than just bringing them forth. We can go out and make babies all day. What responsibility do we owe the next generation?
To bring them up whereas the Most High, so that they might be as close to perfect by way of following the laws and commandments.
Exactly. That's exactly the point. That's exactly the purpose of every man's life. You exist on this earth to serve the Most High first, and then to be a brother to your brothers and sisters second, including your children. Your children are your brothers and sisters in the context what we describe it, right? And the responsibility that you owe to them is to suffer hell and high water to make sure that they they grow up to be able to survive in the world and be strong like you were long after you die. You don't get to be weak. You don't get to show them weakness. You don't get to complain. You just got to get up and be a man. For the sake of them children, you have to be a man so they can see you're showing a little girl what a man is supposed to look like. That's exactly right, Barak, to keep the commandments. The little girl, you showing that little girl what a man's supposed to look like, what type of man she's supposed to desire out of this world. Somewhere out there in that huge ocean of bull crap, it's a koi fish out there for her, proverbially speaking. You know what I'm saying? And you showing her what protection is supposed to look like, real love, because love isn't a feeling, love isn't an emotion, love is action. Showing her what real love look like, what I described earlier about making yourself available for her to talk to, making yourself a safe space for her to talk to. That's real love. That's action. That's putting yourself, your feelings, your pride to the side to be available for your real. Your daughter is gonna grow up seeing that. If you got a son, your son's gonna grow up seeing that, well, this is how dad made it work with mom. This is how dad made it work with his new woman, all of his other reels, whatever. This is how dad made it work. This is how dad did it. This is how he got good women and kept those good women. You know what I'm saying? Everybody there? You got 2 Maccabees. Call it out again. Where we at?
2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 27.
When the sister get there, we'll start reading it. But that's the responsibility of a man. There ain't no days off, no excuses to be made. You know how we in America, they got the draft. So right now, supposed to be every young man is on reserve. But if need be, the U.S. government could call all young men and go to war. But in the Lord's army, there's no reservation. We are at war, actively at war. And the moment we get lax, the moment we get weak, that's when our families suffer. That's when the black household, the black community get destroyed. That's when the black woman becomes vulnerable. The black boy becomes a homosexual. The black girl gets assaulted by somebody that she know, somebody that she don't know. The moment we become weak. All those bad things that happen and everything that comes with those bad things that happen is our fault because we wasn't there. And we can make up I ain't gonna say we make excuses, but we can say whatever we want to say about not being able to be there. The black and white is that we weren't there, and that's why it happened. Right? There's a precept in the Apocrypha where it talks about the father losing sleep for his daughter's sake. Because that's a good father. That's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to lose sleep for his daughter's sake. If he could, he would be there up her ass 24/7 protecting her. He would be a physical shield to make sure that while she's on the toilet, at the bathroom, in the stall, there ain't no little girl gonna be able to get in there and bully her. Anybody open their mouth to say something wrong to her, you're gonna smack the shit out of her. Excuse my name. Smack the heck out of them. You know what I'm saying? He wants to be a father to be able to protect her. He loses sleep thinking about it. That's a good father. But we can't be that. We don't get to do that. They bound up the strong man. Exactly. We don't get to do that though. Right? Everybody there? Go ahead, read it.
All right. Maccabees, Second Maccabees chapter 6, verse 27.
Mm-hmm.
So wherefore now manfully changing this life, I will shew myself such and one as mine age required.
He said, this is the brother Eleazar. This is like I said, it's for the brothers. He's saying that I'm going to manfully change this life, meaning I'm going to give up this life like a man. And I'm going to show myself as one that my age, somebody of my age requires. He's an old brother, a very old brother. He done lived his life. He done had his fun. He done whatever he did in his life. The scriptures described him as being a just brother, righteous man. And so he said that I'm going to give up my life for the next generation. I'm going to let my life go to be a good example to them. He's willing to suffer for the next generation to come. If he did it for those that come after. And it's not supposed to be no other way. No excuse is a good excuse not to be there for the brothers and sisters that come after. No excuse. You have to be willing to suffer, be willing to be hated, be willing to die for those that come after. Keep reading.
And leave a notable example.
And leave a what?
A note.
Something that the young brothers and sisters can reflect on. This brother was mighty. This brother, that's why I was bringing up earlier about fatherhood. This brother was mighty. This brother, he made sure that everything was taken care of, even though things was tough. He made sure that we were safe, danger. They threatened his life literally in this scripture, in that chapter. If you need some free time, read this chapter. They threatened that brother's life with death, all because they wanted him to eat some pork to appease the king. And he said, I won't do it. I'd rather die righteously than live unjustly, unlawfully. He made a decision, and it was made. He took an oath, and he upheld that oath. And it meant something to him. So much so that he was willing to give up his life. Keep reading. Start over at verse 28.
Verse 28. And leave a notable example to such as to be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment.
Immediately after he finished speaking them words, they took him to go and torment him. Keep going.
They that led him changing the good will, they bear him a little before into hatred.
Keep going.
Because the foresaid speeches proceeded, as they thought, from a desperate mind.
They thought that he was saying all that from a desperate mind. They thought that because he knew that he was about to die, he knew he was about to be unalive, he was just going through hysteria. He was just saying whatever he wanted to say now. They didn't know he really meant that. And he was not playing. He was serious. Keep reading.
But when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, it is manifest unto the Lord that hath the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death,
I could have been delivered from death. Keep going.
I now endure sore pains in body by being beaten.
Keep going.
But in soul.
But in my soul. He said, I'm enduring sore stripes and death in my body and having been beaten. But in my soul. Keep going.
But in my soul am well content to suffer these things.
Why? Keep going.
Because I fear him.
Because I fear the Most High. I'm well content to suffer this pain, suffer all of this, because I fear the Most High. Being a sinner ain't worth not having the covenant, not having the kingdom. That's why we do this. That's why we're here. Not for our own glory, but for the glory of the Most High. To make Christ's sacrifice worth something. Before it's worth something to any of them out there, we have to really show that it's worth something to us. So that way that they can see that it's real. That you didn't come off the streets into this building, into this school every week and didn't learn nothing. To be the same nigga you was out there. that you really changing yourself, no matter how long it takes, no matter how much fighting and failing it takes, no matter how much suffering you go through, you don't give up. You still eventually become perfect and be willing to lay your life down so that those that come after can learn to be perfect from your example. This is what Paul is talking about. Like Parak said in the chat, they did Christ the same way with the exact same, and he had the exact same zeal. It didn't matter. This is what the mission is. Imagine being Christ for a second, right? You got all understanding, all knowledge, all wisdom that the Most High gave you anyway, right? You know, even though humanity don't exist, you're going to create these people. And you're going to have to go and die for them people one day. You existed out before time existed, before the angels, before the elements that came together to form the earth. You existed before everything. Outside of the Most High, obviously. And you knew that one day there was going to come a time that you're going to come down to this earth and you're going to die. Your spirit was going to come to this earth into a flesh, be born into this earth, into a flesh, through the seed of man, and you're going to die for people that don't appreciate it, for people that cheered that's going to cheer when you die. You have to suffer. As a man, we have to suffer. And it sucks. It almost feels unfair, but it ain't unfair. You know why? Because we did it. There ain't nothing new under the sun. We in this position because of what we did in our past lives. All of us as a nation. It's the debt that we owe to the Most High. Thankfully, this is all the debt is. And not the debt that we really owe to him because of Christ's sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
And thus this man died.
And then he died. Keep going.
Leaving his death for an example of a notable courage.
A notable courage. Keep going.
And a memorial of virtue, not only unto young men, but unto all his nation.
Unto all his nation. It ain't just about those that come after. It's about those that are here now that's on the fence. You never know who's watching you from the outside while you in here. While you in here doing this work, changing yourself, making these sacrifices, there's somebody out there, there's a lot of people out there that's cheering for you to fail, hoping that you fail, hoping that you're not right. But it's also a handful of people out there that's watching you do this, and they praying that you don't drop the ball. They praying that you don't drop your sword, that you succeed, that you hold true to this thing. They waiting to see how long it take for you, how long you gonna stay in there before they come in here. They waiting to see how long you walk that life, live that life, and walk that path before they decide they're going to get on that path with you. Your life is literally the Lord's glory and testimony, him speaking to other people. Everybody that you know, they hearing the Lord's voice through your life, through the change in you. So you can't get weak. You can't give up. You're going to be weak. You get weak, you better fix yourself. Go find a corner. The scripture say go in the closet. Go in a dark closet by yourself. Pray to the Most High, talk to him, and get yourself together and come back out that closet ready to fight some more. You don't get to quit. We don't quit in here. No cowards. Any more on that? That's it on it. That's verse 31. All right. Go down to, jump to chapter 8 and verse 1.
All right, 2 Maccabees chapter 8, verse 1.
That's why it's important that we do this so that you learn. All Akim and Akwathian. Good.
Then Judas Maccabeus.
You know who Judas Maccabeus was? Do you know what the book of Maccabees is about? What?
The Maccabees going on the war.
With who? So at the end of the Old Testament, in the book of Malachi, the Israelites were in the Persian and Mede captivity, right? And they're coming out of the end of the Persian Mede captivity, Slakia, because Cyrus allowed them to go and rebuild the temple. Fast way forward, there's a 400-year gap between then and the beginning of the New Testament. The book of the Apocrypha is that gap. It's what happened during that time, right? It's that whole historical gap. That's how they end up in the end of the old The Old Testament, at the end of the book of Malachi, they're coming out of the Persian and Mede captivity. But if you read the beginning of Matthew chapter 1 and verse 1, they're in the Greco-Roman captivity. There's a whole gap of information that's missing. How did we get there? And how much time then passed? It's the Apocrypha. And it used to be a part of the KJV. When they discovered, real quick history lesson for everybody who talks that mess. When they discovered the Masoretic text, right? That's what the KJV was transliterated from. That and the LXX, which is commonly called the Greek Septuagint, the Textus Receptus and the Textus Sinaiticus, right? That's the LXX or the Septuagint, whatever, and it's the Masoretic text. Later on, it was confirmed by the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Apocrypha was always a part of that whole package. It was never, they discovered the New Testament, then the Old Testament, and the Apocrypha was just not there. Then later on, they just threw it in there. You know what I'm saying? It was literally a chronological capture of history rolled up in scrolls and hidden in caves. That's what the Qumran cave, that's where the Dead Sea Scrolls was found. It was in the Qumran caves, coincidentally by a damn Arab, Ishmaelite. But yeah, that's where it was found and discovered. So this has always been a part of our Bible. It's always been a part. That's our history right there. But white supremacy took it out in the 1700s. All right, so let's read this book of Judas. Oh, it's like I was telling you about who Judas Maccabeus was, right? So during the time of the Maccabees, you have what was called the Hasmonean dynasty. The Hasmonean dynasty is the Maccabees. They went to war with the Greeks, and the purpose of the war was to rededicate the temple to the Most High. The Most High, the Prague gave me an answer. He said the Protestant church rejected it. That's why they pulled it out. But the Greeks, they sieged Jerusalem, right? I'm not gonna go all into that history right now, but they sieged Jerusalem. They were occupying it, and they profaned the temple. You heard the abomination of desolation? You know what that is? They was sacrificing pigs on the altar in the temple that Solomon built. So that altar is done. We can never use that again. That's why a new temple has to be built. Also because later on it got destroyed with the destruction of the second temple. But the reason why we need a new temple spiritually is because that altar was defiled by swine's flesh. We can't do nothing with that. It was more than just that going on. They was having sex with little boys on the altar. There was all type of evil, disgusting, white supremacy stuff happening in there. You know what I'm saying? But so we went to war with them. Mattathias is the brother who raised up the men that led the charge and won against those white supremacy oppressors. Literally went to war, fought, and won against the Greeks. And then turned around, got betrayed, and got put in captivity by the Romans. That's how we end up in the Greco-Roman Empire at the beginning of the New Testament, right? So now you know where we are. Now you know who Judas Maccabees is. Keep reading.
Then Judas Maccabees, and they that were with him went privily into the towns and called unto their kinsfolk together.
So they went into the town, they called all their brothers and sisters together. Keep going.
And took unto them all such as continued in the Jews' religion.
Right. So when it says continued in the Jewish religion, the reason why it's worded that way, because we don't have a religion. Those brothers and sisters, their religion was Greece religion, was Zeus and the pantheon, the Greek pantheon and stuff like that. And then, of course, you had the brothers that believed in Baal and the weather god and all that nonsense and Dagon and all that crap, wherever they were scattered to or wherever they came to Jerusalem from, that they were scattered from, right? They believed in all those different things. But here, Judas Maccabeus and his men are looking for the brothers and sisters that continued in our belief. And our belief is our culture. We don't have a religion, right? We never had a religion. It's always been our culture, who we are as a people, the God that we serve. So instead of serving them idols and false gods, he said, where are all the people that will serve the Most High God? Where all at in this town? Keep going.
And assembled about 6,000 men.
He got 6,000 brothers. Keep going.
And they called the Lord that he would look upon the people that was trodden down of all, and also pity the temple profaned of ungodly men.
That's what I was just talking about. The Romans, the Greeks was profaning our temple. Keep going.
And that he would have compassion upon the city sore defaced.
He was praying. This is Judas Maccabees praying to the Most High. That he would have compassion on the city that was sore defaced. Have compassion on the people in that city. Why was he praying for those people in that city? Remember, he went to the city. He said, "Where's everybody who's gonna stand with the Most High?" He got 6,000 men out of that. Out of that, who is everybody else in the city? What? Who is everybody else in the city?
I would guess.
Yes. It's important for you to guess if you don't know. That way I can see where your head is at and I can lead you the right way of thinking. If he went to the city, the verse said he went to the city and gathered 6,000 men that actually continued in the faith, continued to serve and believe in the Most High, right? So who's the rest of the people?
Say they're either evil, defined as evil, or heathens.
No.
No, okay.
Who is this?
Those who will stand true.
Exactly. Those that left the truth, those that chose to follow the heathen, that chose to be evil. They chose the world instead of choosing the Most High and choosing to suffer. Those are the other people. Keep reading.
And hear the blood that cried unto him.
And also the blood of the people that died in the truth and the ones that didn't die in the truth. Judas Maccabeus wasn't praying for just the righteous brothers and sisters. He was praying for the wicked ones as well. He was willing to suffer the wrath of the Most High, suffer the wrath of the heathen, suffer persecution, oppression, everything, because he wanted his nation to be fixed. Judas Maccabeus is just like Nehemiah. Nehemiah suffered. He was willing to do whatever. If it wasn't for Nehemiah, it's real hard to say that the truth would even exist if it wasn't for Nehemiah. A lot of how we are so staunch about the truth, our whole setup from camp, everything, the one man on the podium, one speaker, one reader, all of that is because Nehemiah said that's how we're going to do it. He literally held camp down in the middle of the city, downtown, in front of everybody here, loud as he could be, and woke up his people. That's why we do it. That's why we do it the way we do it. But if it wasn't for brothers like Nehemiah to be strong like that and be willing to put himself a target on his back, none of us would have the truth. The truth wouldn't have evolved into this. It's hard to say that it would. I won't say it wouldn't. The Lord could have used any other venue. I'm saying that it would have been hard. It's hard for me to imagine it evolving from anything else than that to this. Because he didn't care. He was willing to stand on it. He was in Babylon, literal Babylon. It wasn't this. It was literal Babylon, teaching the truth. Telling brothers and sisters that y'all buying and selling on the Sabbath. We're not doing that no more. We got to get ourselves together. It ain't unlawful to buy and sell on the Sabbath. But it's damn sure unlawful to buy and sell on the Sabbath if you're doing it at the expense of serving the Most High. If you putting that before your God, your little trinkets that you purchasing, putting money on it under an elephant that you put in your house is more important than serving God. Now that's the problem. That's where you start breaking the law. You put other gods before the Most High. That's the very first commandment. Thou shalt have no other God before me. But you putting everything that you can buy in the market before your service to the Most High. And you letting your brothers and sisters die. You letting your sons and daughters die, suffer, when you're supposed to be willing to suffer. You know what I'm saying? So like you keep going.
And remember the wicked slaughter of harmless infants.
Harmless infants. Our babies, our infant children didn't even get a chance to sin. Didn't get a chance to be righteous. Because we were in captivity and being oppressed by white supremacy, a wicked, evil bastard. But even then, that's our fault. Because we don't serve him. Way back in the book of Numbers, I have to find the verse. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But there's a verse in the book of Numbers that says that when we start to turn back to the ways, it's like when we turn back to the law, statutes, and commandments and teach our children so, then the Lord will turn our captivity. So if I'm your oppressor, what's my objective in order to be able to keep you in captivity? If the Lord allowed me to keep you to put you in captivity for breaking the law, what's my objective now?
To keep me from keeping my law and commandments.
And doing what else? And teaching our children to do so. Why do you think that they don't put out homosexual and alternative lifestyle propaganda to us as adults? You're not the target no more. Now the target is our children. They destroy our children. I've had this my whole life. You control the children, you control the future, you control the world. Oh no, Slaki. You control the children, you control the future. We start planting the seed of homosexuality in them early. Are we destroying the whole future of the black household, the future of the Hispanic household, whole communities? That's white supremacy's way of thinking. And that's why it's important that we suffer so that our children don't have to be exposed to that. Our families don't have to be exposed to that. Keep reading. Those unborn babies.
And the blasphemies committed against his name,
Mm-hmm.
and that he would shew his hatred against the wicked.
And he was praying that the Lord will show his hatred against the wicked. Who is the wicked? What?
I guess Babylon.
At that time, yeah, technically, but no. At that time, it was the Greek Empire. But white supremacy is the wicked that he's talking about right there. The people that actually physically did the thing to us. Those babies didn't have a chance. It's one thing to cast judgment, carry out judgment against the people of Israel, the adults, because we did wrong. But these are babies that didn't have a chance to do right or wrong. You get what I'm saying? Keep going.
Okay. Now, when Maccabeus had his company about him, he could not be withstood by the heathen.
They couldn't stand him. They couldn't stop him. They couldn't stand in his face. They could not stop him because the Lord was with that brother. Keep going.
For the wrath of the Lord was turned into mercy.
It was turned into mercy. The Lord was wroth with the children of Israel at that moment, at that time. And that's why all of what we read before that was him pleading to the Most High to have mercy on us so that he could go to battle for the Lord, so that he could prove himself valuable to the Most High without fail, without excuse, nothing. Keep going.
Therefore, he came at awareness.
He came at unawares, meaning that when no one saw him coming, they didn't think that he was going to come. They was resting, they was asleep, whatever the case would be. They didn't see him coming. Let's read about what that brother did. Because real quick, Judas Maccabeus was a gangster. Y'all don't even know. He really was a gangster. Keep reading.
And burned up towns and cities.
He did what?
Burnt up towns and cities.
That brother waited till no one was watching, waited till no one was aware, set the whole city on fire. The whole town, the whole city's burnt it down. Him and his men. He was a soldier for Christ. Well, that's like not for Christ. He's a soldier for the Most High. Christ wasn't born yet. He was a soldier for the Most High, though. He knew what it meant to really serve the Lord, and he knew what could come if he did this, what could come after. But it was worth it. He saw the value in what he was doing. We don't ever condone murder, and we don't condone violence. For anybody that's listening, but we do condone justice. And that was justice. That's what the Lord wanted him to do. The Lord was trying to raise up a soldier. Or if you read throughout the Bible, right, you'll read instances where the Lord got a prophet and he got a man that the prophet goes to speak with. Normally, it got to a point where it just became the prophet and the king, right? But the Lord always had a soldier that didn't care. For example, in the book of Judges, right, you got the civil war that happened between the children of Israel, all of Israel and the tribe of Benjamin. There was a whole civil war that happened over the Benjamites, these specific Benjamite brothers, some Sodomites, right? And they were trying to assault the Levite priest that was visiting a brother in, I think in Galilee. I think it's the name of the city. He was trying to visit there. And the brother whose house it was, he was visiting, he gave him shelter. The Levite brother brought his daughters with him. And just like in Sodom and Gomorrah, the Benjamite brothers came, they were servants of Baal. It was heathens in spirit. You get what I'm saying? They came knocking on the door. Let us get them in so we might know them. But let us get that man in there, Slakia, that we may know him. Just like in Sodom and Gomorrah. Except it was just one Levite priest in there. And he said, the man of the house, he said, no, he is under my protection because he's in my house. The brother was willing to suffer that for a guest in his house, for a brother. So the brother, he offered up his daughters. They took his daughters, murdered them, and left them on the porch dead. The next day, he came outside and he saw his daughter. I think it was one daughter. He saw her. He rent his clothes. He cried aloud to the Most High, and he chopped her body up and sent different parts to each of the heads of the tribes of Israel. Look what the sons of Benjamin did to my daughter. And you know what they did? They went to war with the sons of Benjamin. I'm not going to hold you. If the Lord wasn't with the whole nation of Israel as a whole, if what Benjamin did wasn't so evil, the whole nation of Israel was losing that war, nigga. And then it was a turning point, obviously, though, where the nation of Benjamin, the tribe of Benjamin, Slakia, was almost eradicated. There was only 400 brothers left. That's it, out the whole nation. 400 Benjamites. You're talking about millions of souls. Only 400 left. And so when it got to that point, you know what I'm saying, the leaders in Israel, they got to crying. They pled to the Most High. We wanted to punish our brother, but we don't want to lose our brother. So, you know what I'm saying, they stopped the war, and then they ended up getting some sisters together and sent them to go be with the brothers to repopulate the tribe of Benjamin. There was a point in time where we almost lost the tribe of Benjamin because of Benjamin's wickedness, right? But that brother, that Levite brother, was willing to suffer whatever came, because anybody could have thought, any leader in Israel could have thought this brother, especially a Levite, oh, this nigga done lost his damn mind. He chopped up his daughter like this and then blamed it on the tribe of Benjamin. All back then, you didn't have photos. You didn't have text messages. All you have is a mail carrier and the word of the man that the mail carrier got the mail from. That's all you got. You that brother put himself in real serious danger. But what he spoke was the truth. So whatever came with it is what was going to have to be. But the brother spoke the truth so that he could get justice for the things that happened. Right? Slakia, keep reading. Slakia.
Burned up towns and cities,
Mm-hmm.
and got into his hands the most commodious places.
The most commodious places, meaning like the common places, like downtown Nashville is the most commodious place, the most common place where all the foot traffic is, right? Keep going.
And overcame and put to flight no small number of his enemies.
Put to flight no small number. He was killing the heathen. Go ahead.
Wow.
Oh, I thought you go ahead. You gotta go ahead.
But specially took he advantage of the night for such privy attempts, insomuch that fruit of his manliness
That the fruit of his holiness
was spread everywhere.
was spread everywhere. Right? The fruit of his holiness. What was the fruit of what he did? What was the fruit of what his actions were? What do y'all think? Him going into that city, burning it down in the dead of night, under the cover of darkness. What was the fruit in it? Go ahead.
I mean, the only thing I could think of was get off.
I mean, that's a real worldly way to look at it, but that's the answer, though. Good job. Imagine Batman, right? Imagine Batman. His whole life he been subjugated. Him and everybody in, let's say Batman is from Metropolis for whatever reason. It's an example, right? But he's in Gotham, and him and everybody that's with him is in Gotham. They being oppressed by the people in Gotham, the crime in Gotham. Well, now you got Batman. He out there doing whatever he can. What is that going to do for the people from Metropolis that's being oppressed in Gotham? What does that give them? If you got an oppressed people, and then you got one person out that oppressed people going to war with the oppressor, what is that going to do for the rest of the oppressed people?
As far as the oppressed people.
It gives them what?
Hope, inspiration. It gives them.
Start with an S. It's the opposite of weak.
Strength.
It gives them strength. That's what it does. It gives them strength. He did that by himself? No, he did it with a whole gang of brothers. Why wasn't I out there? Am I that weak and afraid? I don't even got to really, I can slip into the crowd, just be amongst the numbers. But I'm going to be in the house and just watch from afar and just hope that brother succeed. Or hate on that nigga. Hope he get caught. Or I could be a man, gird up my loins, go out there and lay down my life the same way my brother laying down his life for all of our people. Right? So that's the example of the brothers, right? I ain't gonna go too much longer. It's already 8:30. But that's the example of the brothers. Matter of fact, we're gonna stop there. We're gonna do a part 2. I ain't never done a part 2 in scripture breakdown class. We're gonna do part 2. That's the example of the brothers. Brothers, gird up your loins. Life is war. It ain't easy. It ain't fun. Being the truth ain't easy. It is fun, even in the suffering. But we glory in the suffering, so that's why it's fun. But also the brotherhood is great too. But the battles is what make being the truth good and make it fun because you really training your spirit, developing yourself. We got any questions before I end the class? Everybody to walk? No questions online? All right, with that, I pass the class off to Salakia. Kabashwan, I have to pass the class off to you. I pass the class off to Priest and Officer Kabashwan. Salakia, I legitimately ain't got nobody else to pass it off to. You gotta come over here on the camera.
These are the ISUPK security now. We are the ISUPK started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, found in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and also found in Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10, means 10th in the Hebrew, ma'ashra, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to treasury department or teacher, priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like, a coming holy convocation, the closing of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, Sunday, April 12th. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black, boot, shirt, pants, headband, or war squad. And with that, I'm in of Israel, Amazon, means stand. All right, we're going to give one courtesy salute. Ahmad Shabbat, Amazon, Barak,
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatah.
Yaji Matah, Saul, turn face to Sister Amazon. All right, men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. I'm in of Israel, Ahmad Shabbat, Amazon, Barak,
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua.
Yaji Matah, Saul, dismissed.